Hi all, well here we are on the Superloop 3 and I've got a new guest with me today, so I'll just hand over and let them introduce themselves. Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm Stickland and I'm the Chief Executive at Transport for All. We're the disabled-led group working for access to public transport for deaf, disabled and older people across the UK. We've been going for 40 years and we started back in the 80s and 90s chaining ourselves to bus stops to get access to this really important mode of transport. So I'm really excited to be here with Claire today talking about how important buses are for our community, how they provide access and independence and the ability to travel safely and with dignity, but also how we can make them even better so that all of the 16 million disabled people across the UK have access to their local area.
Good stuff. Right, Caroline, tell me about your last bus journey, where you went and what it was like.
So my last bus journey was in August, so about 2 weeks ago, and it was taking the accessible shuttle bus from Wembley Stadium to Wembley Park Station, and it was just after seeing Taylor Swift play at the Superloop. So I was knackered, sweaty mess, and I was so grateful that accessible shuttle existed, and myself and a small group of disabled people all used my shuttle to get back to the station, all basking in the glow of the Aerosol together.
Okay, so can you think of an instance when you were on a bus and you had a really unexpectedly lovely experience?
So my best memory of using a bus was at my wedding, where we got married in South London and had a reception just over the river in Bank. And in order to get there together with our guests, we hired some buses, traditional red buses, to take everyone across. And some of my favourite memories from that day are seeing people just being really excited about getting a traditional London mode of transport. Lots of selfies, lots of pictures of people on there, and just really summing up the joy of the day.
Fantastic. Okay, now unfortunately not in real life, but in our imaginations, I'm going to give you a magic bus ride and you can decide where that bus is going to take you, anywhere in the world. Where would you go and why?
I would take my magic bus back to the 1990s and I'd show it to the amazing campaigners who fought for the right for wheelchair users and other disabled people to be able to board the bus just like everyone else. I'd show them that they're active actions and they're chaining themselves to bus stops and taking the fight to pay for them all have paid off. There is more we can do to make buses accessible, but I'd love to show those pioneers of the disability movement how far we have come.
Hi, so we're on the Superloop. It's a relatively new set of services, an orbital bus loop around London. So what do you think of the whole idea? Is it worthwhile or not? What do you reckon?
So buses are one of the most popular forms of transport for disabled people, which is partly because they give such an accessible experience. So the majority of buses will have automatic or manual ramp access for disabled people. Many buses now have audio-visual information so that we know which stop we're coming up to, if there's any diversion. And also all bus drivers should be trained in disability equality so that they can give a good quality service. We also have travel cards for disabled people like the Freedom Pass here in London or other passes elsewhere in the UK, which means oftentimes people can travel on the bus for free. And in some areas we can even travel with a carer or companion or personal assistant for free too. So in those ways, the physical barriers to travel, the financial barriers to travel, and the information barriers to travel are covered off by the way that the buses are designed and delivered. However, we can always do more. It is remarkable in this day and age that there's only one only one wheelchair space on the majority of buses. There's some fleets like down in Brighton and Hove where they're exploring putting a second wheelchair space in, which is fantastic. We'd love to see the pace of that